Tonight we welcome an LA hip-hop pioneer, but more importantly, not just an LA hip-hop pioneer, but a pioneer in expanding what the possibilities are for a hip-hop artist. He is not just an MC, but a band leader, author, actor, broadcaster, public speaker, freedom of expression advocate. Please join me in welcoming the OG, Ice-T.
Cool.
Thank you for being here.
Well, I was minding my business. An Egyptian lover popped up on the phone talking about coming to LA. And I'm like, I live in New York right now, you know? And he's like, well, come, we're gonna do an Uncle Jam's Army reunion. Of course, I wanted to do that. So, when there's a will, there's a way. Then you guys came up with this little speaking thing for the Red Bull Academy. So I'm in the building, so.
All right, well, we're very happy to have you here. Now, I just ran down a short list of the many things that you do. But do you still consider yourself a musician first?
Yeah, I think I'm a musician first. More of like a writer. Whether I'm writing books or writing rap or just a lyricist and a writer first, But bottom line hustler. Bottom line hustler. That just was a vehicle for me to get out of trouble. So I had to figure something out, and that kind of was dropped in my lap. I always had a gift to gab. I was always good conversationalist. I was always good at that, and sometimes you don't know what's going to be your gift, and that turned out to be my gift, my communication ability.
I mean, do you think, that sort of being the foundation for you, do you think that was the thing that prepared you for everything that you're able to do subsequently, musically, theatrically, whatever, writing? Or, do you think hip-hop was part of that as well, as far as just giving you the skills, to preparing you to be able to do all these different things?
Well, I was just always a deep thinker. Like, I was always trying to figure it out. Like, I'm an orphan. I don't have any living relatives. So I was kind of thrown into South Central Los Angeles to try to figure it out. You got the gangs over here, you got the hustlers, you got the girls, you got to figure it out. I don't got no backup. Yeah. So I don't have family or brothers, so I got to connect to the right cats that got my back. I'm light-skinned, I got light eyes, my name's Tracy. I'm like, you trying to make it in this city, these motherfuckers will eat you alive, you dig? So I always was trying to figure it out. I was always reaching to be a little bit smarter, a little bit more intelligent. You don't have to be in the gang. You just got to get the gang on your side. If you're a likable person, you can move around. So I figured early in LA that no one's afraid of anybody. But if they love you, you good. So love is more important than fear. All of my friends that people feared are dead because that don't last. But if people like you see, like, okay, say I got a close group of friends around me that love me, right? Then they talk well about me to another circle of friends, and they talk well about me to another circle of friends. So when Joe Blow over here says he's gonna move on Ice, he's gonna run into somebody that says, nah, I fucks with Ice. Right. And that protects me. Now, when you're in danger is when your closest circle turns on you, and they open the door to the second level that can come get you. So it's very important you make sure the people really close to you are happy and ain't in that zone. But I figured all this stuff out, and I was trying to figure out what to do in LA, and I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be cool, and music was never ever, how the fuck, I can't sing. I can't play any instrument. So I never thought that was ever gonna be. Acting, all this stuff I'm doing now is so far from what I thought my life was gonna be.
I mean, you mentioned being an orphan coming to Los Angeles. What are your memories of Fort Crenshaw and, you know, how that...
My memories of what?
What you call Fort Crenshaw, which is Crenshaw High School.
Crenshaw was crazy. Well, see, I mean, I came to LA, my mother died, and then my father died. And I came out here in the 7th grade. And I lived in an area, an upscale black community called View Park, which is up Angeles Vista and with Vernon and that's where I started. And we got bused to Palms Junior High School. So they were busing us and Gompers out to Palms. So the first thing I learned out there in Culver City was the white girls love black dudes. Like, we got off the bus and we were like the Jackson 5 out there. We was like, yo, like, fuck, you know, busing ain't so bad, you know? So we learned that quickly, and the white kids over there didn't hate us, they liked us. You know, we was cool, we was good, we were just cool. It wasn't any racial tension. The only tension was getting on that bus early in the morning and that extra hour and all that shit. So after that, when I got to 9th grade, back then you would do 10th, 11th, and 12th in high school. Well, summer school, I decided, well, I'm gonna go to Crenshaw because I could walk to Crenshaw. But I don't know none of the motherfuckers down in the hood. I don't know, I'm up in the hills, so I don't know nobody right across Crenshaw. Like, now they got front hood and back hood 60s, but they didn't have that. We was on once you were on the other side of Crenshaw, wasn't no gangs. So I decided I'm gonna go to Crenshaw, and I walked there in the 9th grade for summer school, and I was like, God damn, these kids was from Horace Mann, Bethune, Fauché, and they was another level. They was tough as a motherfucker. So I was like, okay, cool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna align myself with the shot callers. And because, like I said, I got the gift of gab and I was able to do that. So I figured out who was coming from, you know, who was gonna be the Hoover Crips and all that. So I knew all them. These are the years of Tookie. So everybody is connecting and stuff. But I figured out that if I joined any gang, I made myself the enemy of another gang. So I would just become a gang affiliate. I fuck with different niggas in different sets, mostly Crips. You know, Crenshaw, you could get your fucking shit beat out of you. That place was not to be fucked with. It was very dangerous. First thing I learned when I got to high school, though, was all the girls were going with niggas with beards that were 20 years old and shit. So I'm there in the 10th grade, I'm trying to hook up with the girls and shit, and especially the cheerleaders. Like, after school, you'd watch the lowriders pick up these big-ass, grown-ass men. I'm like, fuck, why am I even saying anything to her? Like, fucking grown 40-year-old nigga just picked her up, like. So I just, like, you know, first few years of high school, I wasn't getting no pussy, it wasn't nothing happening, you know. But that's where I started getting infected with this hustler player shit, because the cats I was hanging with was shooting dice and wearing tailors. People out of the city don't even know what tailors are. That's like young kids, we used to go downtown and get tailor-made clothes, Vegas V's and Ollie flaps and some, like, pimp shit, like, you 15, 16 with pimp clothes on, right? Like, you know, motherfuckers know Dutch boys and all that old shit. So we would go to school, and one of my partners, Michael Carter, rest in peace, they had these Iceberg Slim books. And so I started getting into those books, and I was like, yo, this is some of the flyest shit in the history of the world. Like, Next thing you know, I'm like, I had an afro. If you look at my pictures, I had an afro. Oh, before I knew, I had a lot of body in that shit and magnetic rollers, and the perm was, you know, like, you start reading that pimp shit, next thing you know, your shit is like, you know, so my shit was more wavy than the ships in the Navy, you dig what I'm saying? You know? I would go to Good Fred's on 54th, on Western, I think it's Western, I think 54, 48, right, it's on 54th, right there, get my hair did, and you know, I used to go to homeroom with rollers in my hair. This is how Crenshaw was. I would go with rollers, I wouldn't take my motherfucking curls out to nutrition on a funky, on a funky bitch, you dig? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to figure this out. My high school friends is here. They know, you know, so Crenshaw, you could come to school in house shoes. It was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy, but 100% black. There was not one, I think there was one Mexican kid that was there. Now it's more 50-50. Was no Mexicans. Only white people were the teachers. Wow. And it was, you know, and then Crenshaw, our arch enemies was Manual Arts and Dorsey. And you know, Cougars had a rep. Mm-hmm. Crenshaw High School is like the most central high school in LA. Like if you took South Central LA and put a needle through the map of the center, you'd come through the Crenshaw Quad. That's so it's like an even mix of West Side. Right. And, see, East Side of LA is on the other side of the Harbor Freeway. And we don't really fuck with East Side niggas. East Side niggas wear like shorts and hard shoes and party socks. Like, right? The nigga be having Stacy's on with a sweatsuit and shit. That's some East Side. That shit over there by Locke and Jordan, that's some other shit. That's a different kind of gangsters. Okay. Are you from here?
I am not, no.
Okay, well, people say Compton. Compton is so far from LA. You know, you need a full tank of gas to get to Compton. In Compton, you can ride a horse, you can have pigs, you can have chickens and shit in Compton. So South Central cats and Inglewood cats, we like, because Eazy-E and NWA made Compton popular, but whenever you're across, anyone from LA, they go, oh, I'm from LA. If you black, they go, you from Compton? You're like, nah, I ain't from motherfucking Compton. From South Central LA, you dig? But yeah, so I mean, I made it through Crenshaw. I used to be in a locking group. Okay. At that time, breakdancing hadn't really broke. Right. So the big group out here on the West Coast was the Lockers. Shabba-Doo, Don Campbell, Freeway. So I had a little crew called the West Coast Locksmiths, and we used to lock and just anything to keep the gangbangers off your bumper. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, yeah, what up, Crip? What up, cuz? Oh, that nigga dance. Okay, cool. They like, you know. You know, like, yeah, because I'm like, you know, I'm amongst it, but I'm not really like trying to get down like that. You know, I knew there was something else, but by having affiliations with the right cats, you could survive.
Right, right. I mean, you mentioned somebody who was a profound influence on you. I just want to play a little bit of audio of this gentleman's work, just for a minute.
That's Iceberg Slim.
Make some noise for Iceberg Slim, please.
A lot of people don't know Iceberg made an album, which he did in rhyme, that's from the album Reflections. See, and the thing with Iceberg Slim was he told stories, but it was the A and the B side of the game. It wasn't always you win, you lose, because that's what the game really is. It's not a always win situation. All my friends in the penitentiary and all of them dead, I know there's a B side to this game. So my thing was, if I'm gonna talk about the streets, I gotta show you both sides of it. And I had an epiphany because I was admiring Iceberg Slims, and I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to pimp. I remember when the girls that we used to have that used to boost with us. We had girls that boost with us and girls we steal jewelry with. And then I decided I tried to pimp on them, and they was trying to run like a motherfucker. They was like, oh, Ice is trying to pimp on me. I'm like, come on, baby, you're sitting on 20,000. You gotta come on. So I'm trying to push them that way. Pimping is difficult.
Some have said it
but
ain't easy.
I'm really just trying to do what, I'm admiring this hustling and this game, and, people say, well, you cut for this, you got light eyes, you got, and you're not really fascinated. I'm not really fascinated with pussy if it's not aimed at me. It's like you could have a bunch of guns in this room, but if they're not aimed at me, I'm not worried about it. So all the women can have all the wood pussy in the world, but if that shit's not aimed at me like it's coming for me, fuck it, it's not my pussy. So I could be around a lot of girls and they don't fascinate me. I'm like, cool, you just want me to hit on you so you could laugh about it, but I'm not hitting on you unless I know you trying to fuck me, for real. But anyway, one day I got this epiphany. I'm like, Iceberg Slim isn't just a pimp and a player, he's a writer. He's a writer. So there's so many hustles and players in the world, but who knows their name? I'm not gonna be known because players have these dreams of, like Cube says, is looking at the Goodyear blimp and parades. This is the delusions that players have, And I was like, if I'm gonna be known, if I wanna go down in the books, I can't just live the game, I have to document the game. And that's how I'm gonna be known above the average cat on the street. There's a lot of Ice-T's out here. They just ain't made no records. They just ain't wrote no books. So I said, I'll document the game. So when you listen to my music, don't listen to it like a rap record. Listen to it like me telling you stories over music, but it's not meant to dance to. We intentionally use beats that you couldn't dance to, because you're supposed to sit back and will listen to me kick game. That's what all my records are about.
I mean, yeah, that makes complete sense, actually, because I was going to ask you, at some point in this conversation, like, sort of the conventional musical format of a certain era of hip-hop from this city is like P-Funk style beats and things like that. And you've consciously shied away from that. You've only.
Once I find out something's easy, I don't want to do it no more. Chuck D says Ice-T is the only person he knows that does things that jeopardize his entire career to stay awake. So, I'm Your Pusher was the first rap record with a singing hook. It was a hit. I never did it again. Because I'm Your Pusher had Curtis Mayfield hook and it hit, I thought it was cheating. I'm like, that's too easy. I can't, fuck that, no more singing hooks. Because I just think it's too easy. And I'm not gonna do something I see somebody else do. So I'm trying to, because we, real players, you wanna be original. I want to pop up in some shit you never seen. I want to introduce you to things. If I pop up in this motherfucking Gucci jacket and the nigga in the front row got one on, I might burn this shit backstage, you did? Because that ain't fly. It looks like them shits was on sale, son. What's happening? So, my music always steered away from what normal people was trying to do. It always had to have its own lane. It always had to sound different.
So when did cats start calling you Ice then? Iceberg Slim was obviously an inspiration to you.
Ice comes from say some more of that Ice stuff, T, because I wasn't letting people call me Tracy. They would call me Trey. They call me Crazy Trey. Tracy starts fights. I go in a new neighborhood, they like, oh, Tracy, nigga, that's a bitch name. Like, I gotta swing on a nigga I just met, So, and I never really had no problem. I'm 6 feet tall, 210. I'm not worried about nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a little guy that's worried. I'll get busy. So I just tried to avoid conflict. So we took the tray and it turned into tea, and then people used to say some more of that ice stuff tea. So iced tea is really iceberg tea. So my real homies call me Berg. So, you know, and Bishop Juan said, nigga, you iceberg, nigga, you know how that name is wanted in the streets. Niggas want to be ice. Everybody wants to be ice, nigga. But you got that name and you got to brag. Niggas can't shut down, nigga. So you got it. That's your name until you gone, motherfucker, you know. So I named my son Little Ice. His name is ICE with all capital letters because he doesn't have a name. He has a title. And yeah, church. But you know, the key to being ice or cool is when you win, you don't get that happy. And when you lose, you don't get that sad. Yeah. So it's like, Ice, you just won the lotto. I'm like, word. Ice, somebody just wrecked your car. Damn. Yeah, that's how you become Ice. Yeah.
So when did the actual hip hop style of rhyming? You say you were kicking the street rhymes.
Hip hop kind of started for me after I came out the military. I went in the military because I was a teen parent. I came home, and the two things was happening: the dance situations with Bay 5, Wrecking Crew, Uncle Jam, shit was popping off, and my homies who had gone from small-time criminals to big-time criminals. And they say, look, man, we hitting these jewelry spots. This is the lick. This is what you do. And I was from the military, so I had no training but for that kind of shit. So I'm like, all right, come on, let's go get money. So while we getting money, we would get the money, and then we would go to these parties. But then because we was getting so much money, we was the best dressed motherfuckers at the party. So when you would go to Uncle Jam's Army, you would see somebody like Ice-T show up with 40 people, girls and guys, all Fila draped head to toe with the jewels on and the perms popping. And you like, what are these like some hybrid gangster, pimp, hustler, young LA players, you know? And that's where it started. I wanted to do parties like them, and I found out that I would get more attention from these little rhymes I had written. But you gotta remember, nobody had ever made no money rapping yet. No one had bought a car rapping yet. So when I tell my friends I wanna rap, they like, nigga, you better get this money, man, all that old rap bullshit. Like, no, niggas talk down on it. Yeah. And I was like, cool. So I remember I would still go to Uncle Jam's Army and I would ask Roger and stuff like that. And eventually they let me get on the mic. And I went up there saying whatever I had to say. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like my first taste of standing in front of large audiences.
You know, today's been declared Uncle Jam's Army Day in Los Angeles, right? What did Uncle Jam's Army mean? What does it mean to this city? How important was that movement?
You gotta remember, back then, even for adults, there weren't a lot of clubs. Like now you have lots of clubs, nightclubs and things like that, but there weren't. And if you were 16 to 21, you couldn't get in, 20, you couldn't get into a club. And if you was black and even 20, you wasn't getting into the Hollywood clubs. So you had a few places you could go. So they tapped the market that was, because the other option is a house party. And a house party in LA is a potentially death trap. Yeah. Because basically what you do in a house party, most people out here that have houses, the house party is in the garage and it's in the back and they put the turntables back there and then they have red lights and shit. And that whole driveway is a kill zone. It's dangerous, right? So when motherfuckers drive by and they blast in that driveway, you can get it. Very few people even let you into their house. Yeah. So when we was in high school, they would take these index cards and it would say date, gate, mate, rate, and late. Date is where, the date is when, the gate is where, The mate is who's throwing it, and the rate is how much it costs. Then it would have a name of a song at the top, like Big Payback. Like, I'm not going to that fucking party. This shit, it's called the Big Fucking Payback. Like, and they would hand out these index cards, and that's where the parties would be. This was before the flyers. When Uncle Jam's Army came out, all of a sudden you started seeing these flyers up on the posts of the streets. And then they had radio commercials. So you knew it wasn't a house party. And then once you went to one, it was more girls and more action than ever. The one thing about Uncle Jam's Army party is it was not a concert. See, if you go to a concert, you come in like this and you expect people to perform. Uncle Jam's was a dance. Yeah. So you went there to catch. There were girls there and there were guys there. So you're out there trying to pick up. It was more of a mating situation going on out there. Then if you go to a concert tonight, you ain't expecting to meet nobody unless you finna play the parking lot. You dig what I'm saying? You know, or the girls' bathroom, some old pimp shit. I know how to give y'all niggas secrets and shit. The best place to pick up chicks is in front of the girls' bathroom in any club. Just stand there. You're going to get to see them in the white light. They probably left their man for a hot second. And if you intersect them right there, you could get more numbers than you just work the averages. Just stand there. Don't waste your time running through the whole club. Just stand right by the girls' bathroom. But you got to pose to be chose. You got to be fly. You got to catch them looking first, you dig? When they look a little too long, you know, you say, bitch, I'm in an orange suit. You know, I ain't no UPS, man. What's happening? But that's another game. Back to this. Uncle Jam's Army was a dance, not a concert. And, you know, the music played continuously, and the dance floor was just packed with people. Back then, they was doing the freak, you know, which is basically just dry humping to a rhythm. Love the freak. Bring that back. Some niggas is still doing the freak. Some niggas never learned no new dances. That's all they know. It's just a freak. They come to the party to push up on you.
Now, like, there's always this documentation of New York hip-hop history where it's like the cats from uptown came downtown to do parties, and that's where you had this scenes intermingling. You know, was there an equivalent of that in L.A.?
No. Nah. In New York, you had the hip-hop scene, which went downtown to the upscale people. Andy Warhol and people like that got a hold of it. But they had a kind of like a thing out there where they kind of called a truce with the street gangs in order to party. That's what the Zulu Nation did, was said, look, we're not going to be able to have these parties if y'all act up. And that's one thing we know about clubbing is that once somebody gets shot or something happens, the girls stop coming. And that's the end of the party, you know. There ain't no party with a bunch of dudes, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen, you know. We used to run clubs. We had clubs up in Hollywood later, Water the Bush, United Nation, and I used to tell them that this club is based on pussy per square foot. You dig? If you stock the pond with enough women, the guys are gonna come. If we put ugly girls in this club, they gonna buy beer. If you put hot chicks, they buy champagne. This is basic business here, y'all. You gotta understand. The girls get in free because they don't spend money anyway, and the guys pay to impress. And that's, you know, now when you take it down to a high school level, you still need a lot of girls. And girls ain't coming where somebody could get hurt. They like, nah, I'm cool. So you have to keep a lid on the nonsense. But here's the problem. Everybody in LA don't go everywhere in LA, right? See, I'm sitting in Inglewood. I don't come to Inglewood because I got all this blue on. You understand what I'm saying? We from another part of LA. So different people won't cross different lines. If you from Compton, they never cross Manchester. Compton is 10 square miles. They don't So people stay in their little sectors of California, especially the guys. But when Uncle Jam threw a party, it was so big, it would draw people from all the different neighborhoods, all the different gang sets. So you have a potential powder keg.
Well, what about radio? Because this is one of the places that you really made, your home.
Oh, now radio is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
The radio was a club down by MacArthur Park that was run by a Russian named Alex Jordanov and a white guy named KK. And they were the first club like that really played hardcore hip hop to like an upscale white kind of new wave crowd. Glove played there. Glove, my DJ, who played on the song Reckless, he played there. Egyptian Lover spun there. But they would bring New York acts in. And that's also where they shot the movie Breakin'. That was a real scene. But when the movie company came in, they didn't want to pay Alex and call it the radio, so they called it the Radiotron. That's that Hollywood bullshit. And they figured a way to cut him out of what he created. Right. But it was the first really hardcore New Yorkish hip-hop club in LA. Right. Now, Uncle Jam's Army wasn't playing rap because there was no rap records. They were playing techno. So I call Uncle Jam's like the first rave. They were like doing a rave and didn't know what it was. It was just all DJs and local DJs who were really nobodies who became stars in the world of Uncle Jam's Army. Egyptian Lover just told me the night he became Egyptian Lover. I'm like, wow, it was a very erotic experience that turned him into Egyptian Lover. He was like, I'm Egyptian motherfucking lover right now. So, people were being born in there.
Well, when do you feel like you really started to find your voice then as an MC? I mean, we know the track that sort of set it off.
I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to get out of trouble. Yeah. I seen rap as a vehicle. I saw Run DMC play, and they had lasers, and I was like, yo, this shit is rock and roll. Like, this is gonna be big. This is me only playing in garages. So when I saw when somebody takes it to another level, it lets everyone else know there is another level. Mm-hmm. So a lot of kids may never have thought of acting. And then they see me act and then they go, oh, damn, that's something I could do. When Barack Obama became president, it was like, damn, that can be reached. We put these limits, but there's really no limit. I mean, speaking of acting, they told me the other day, they said, do you know you're the longest running black actor in television history? Wow. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? But 19 years on SVU. So
that's amazing.
It's amazing. So I don't know when I started making records, and I did one record, Coldest Rap. It was Then I got with Unknown DJ, who was another guy that was part of the scene. And Unknown, I was trying to get him to do a record on Hen G and Evil E, my DJs and stuff. And he was like, you gotta do a song. You gotta do a song. So I did a song called You Don't Quit. Then I did another song, and my boy Randy Mack was like, talk that shit you be talking though. Don't fuck this hip hop shit. Yeah. Talk that shit. I'm like, nobody wants to hear that shit. And that's when we did 6 in the Morning. The B-side wins again. 6 in the Morning is just an adventure of one person's journey, but it's really I write faction. It's a fictional story using factual occurrences, but the occurrences could have happened from a lot of different people, but it makes a good adventure. So all the things in the story happen, but maybe not to me, but Ice-T lived this adventure. And I knew this song was a hit because I got a call from the Fillmore West in the Bay, and they were like, yo, would you do a concert? I'm like, I only got one song. They like, nah, they filling you up here in the Bay. They know all your music. They playing you on KMEL and all this. I'm like, word? I'm like, okay, cool. And then like 4 days later, they called me back and they said, we want you to do another concert. I'm like, I just signed up to do one. Yeah. They said, that's sold out. Right. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just sold out a show? LA is a weird place. Like, you could be famous, but they won't let you know it. Like, they won't, they like, I know this nigga. This nigga went to school with my cousin. Like, fuck him. We ain't no star. This nigga, see that nigga stand in front of the liquor stores and shit. Like, fuck him. But then you go to the Bay, they rolling the carpet out for you. Cause you from first off, they love LA niggas. Then you coming in there, I'm selling out shit. So that's something you have to adjust to when you from LA. LA don't really break artists. LA is really hard. Like they usually wait for you to break somewhere else and then they claim you. They're like, oh, Kendrick Lamar, he's the biggest artist in Texas and shit. That's us. He's from LA, you motherfuckers. They'll claim you, but here they front on you. It's a very LA people know. So yes, 6 a.m. was my first big hit. The funny thing is now, when I do performances and I gotta come out, I gotta go, 6 a.m, police at my door. I gotta find that voice. Fresh Adidas squeaked across the bathroom floor. Ow, my back. I gotta go there.
I was gonna ask you about that actually. It's like, you have this register. I mean, I guess it's for different songs and different materials, which voice you decide to employ, right? Yeah,
well, when you're a solo rapper, your voice is an instrument. So the worst thing is listen to a solo rapper's album where every song sounds the same. Yeah. So I can yell on some records, like songs like You Played Yourself or High Rollers. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like using this voice. This is it. Dope from the Fly Kid, the Ice Micers. So you got to have all, because you try to match the voice to the energy of the song. So that's essential to me. When you described in your pre-professional music days, doing what you were doing, robbing jewelry stores, whatever it was, you mentioned the adrenaline rush. Yeah. That was unlike anything else. But how did performing, how did that relate to that? That's different. This shit is nothing's like that. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, if you ever, I'm sorry to say it, but there's nothing that's gonna give you the rush of putting your life on the line. So when you moving through a store, you holding people ransom and shit, this shit is some other shit. Like you on some mode, like, whoo, and then when it's over, you like, damn, hopefully you get away, but nah, a lot of criminals are hooked on that high. There's a rush that goes along with that, but I'm cool with not having that rush no more. I'm cool. I said I've completed my my PhD in testing the system. Yeah. And I lived to tell, and I got away with enough felonies for everybody in this room. So I'm cool. I'm not gonna break the law. I don't break the law. I don't jaywalk in New York. I'm gonna tell you, right now, I'm not a religious person. What I do know is something's going on. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something going on. I'm afraid to pick a religion because I don't want to end up in heaven or wherever, and the Hare Krishna, the guy says, remember me in that fucking airport, you a fucking asshole? So I don't know which one, so I ain't picking one. Yeah. But I know something is going on. Yeah. But I believe honestly now, when the way my life has changed, that if I break the law or I cross you or even lie to you with the intent to take advantage of you, I'll die. I believe I'll suffer instant karma because I got away. I'm so lucky in my life today. I got a beautiful kid. I got a beautiful life. For me to go back in that dark world, I can't do it. I can do it with my music. I can revisit those thoughts and the ways of thinking because they're very familiar to me, but I don't want that. Yeah. You know, I'm in search of peace. I'm in search of helping my friends. But I also tell people, the funk, that part, I'm very familiar with that and seasoned in that too. Yeah. So if you choose to go there, you fucking with a vet in that department. You understand? But that's not what I wish, and I like to just be around people that I love and positive energy now.
When did you first learn about the existence of a parental advisory sticker?
Well, back when we were that was by the time I had got my record deal, and I was at Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. And they come at me and they go, you know, they got the PMRC, Tipper Gores out there saying records are fucking up people, and it's the same bullshit that's been going on since the birth of rock and roll. I was like, whatever. They said they want to put a sticker on the record to let people know that there's, you know, bad words or whatever. I was like, cool. My thing was, I was never trying to bait and switch you. I'm never trying to sell you something and then you're shocked. But then, like, my attitude is if you open up a Stephen King novel and the cover is a body with a knife in it, don't get mad when you turn the first cover and somebody gets whacked. I mean, so my album covers had guns and imagery of street shit. So do not enter. The album cover says, don't enter if this is not what you want. Don't become offended. So I didn't mind the sticker. But it was the first record ever stickered. Another
Brian
first.
Page, right.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that, well, let me ask it this way. When you found your voice as an artist doing music that documented the streets, did you know immediately by necessity that you were going to have to be dropping knowledge within that fabric?
Oh, once I found out that people liked that, yeah, I was like, oh man, it's like a hit a home run. Like, I got an abundance of this shit. I could do this shit all motherfucking day. Yeah. You know, it was gonna be harder for me to rap like a rapper. Yeah. Like to rap about parties and bullshit that didn't matter to me. That shit was, how many records could I make about that? Like, you know, that's why, like, now you listen to the rappers, they like, I got a car, I got a watch, I got a car, I got a watch, check this out, I got a watch, I got a car. You know, I fucked a girl, I got a car, I fucked a watch, I got a car, I got a fuck. Because they ain't, you know, I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking birds. Like, they have a small amount of experience. Yeah. So there's lack of content. So I would read a lot of books. I'm watching movies. I'm trying to take in, like, even right before I make a record, I'm taking in all the information I can so that I'm able to express a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. But because I had been in the game, mm-hmm, you gotta remember, I started rapping when I was 27. Mm. I was no kid. So, you know, from 18 to 27, I was on the street. So I had real shit to talk about. That's why I listen to these little niggas like, I'm 14, nigga, you ain't never even, only bird you saw was at Popeyes, nigga. Like, stop it. Like, ain't been in no, get the fuck out of here. You watch a lot of Scarface shit. So, but you know, and then I also come from a zone where the niggas that was around me wouldn't allow me to lie.
Yeah.
So I got homies that really been there, and niggas tell me, Ice, you ain't gotta lie because the shit we did was too real. So keep it within the realms of reality. You ain't gotta say you killed 50 niggas. You ain't killed 50 niggas. You probably would, but you haven't, so don't say it. You know, so I kind of like didn't know you could lie. I didn't know you could take pictures with girls that weren't yours. I didn't know you could stand in front of cars that weren't yours. I didn't know you could wear other people's jewelry. I didn't know that was okay. I thought like that's not allowed in the street. Niggas like, nigga, that ain't your rope, nigga. Like, come on, nigga. Like, what's good? So I was always reaching for being real. It was imperative, you know, it's paramount. We can't fake the funk. Somebody will check you. Yeah. And you know, for me to be from LA and to be doing this shit so long and never have been challenged, you've never heard nobody come out at me, ever. That says a lot. Yeah. Cause niggas know. Motherfuckers would have came at my head. Oh yeah, that nigga Ice-T. And they be like, Ice-T. And they say, no, that's Ice. And oh, that's who them niggas? Okay, cool, chill. I'm sorry, I take that back.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But at the same time, it's like you are documenting this and also providing a lesson, like you said, both sides of the game.
The game is just, rap was just a stepping stone, man. I just wanted out. Yeah. I wanted the big house. I wanted the fly shit. I wanted everything every other hustler wants. Rap was just a way out. It was like a low-hanging fruit. Like, oh, I can get out of it by telling stories about the shit I did? Oh, come on, that's a lick. Yeah. And then when I'm doing that, I get a call to be in New Jack City. I'm scared shitless. I can't act. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like the way it happened, I'm in a club and I'm hollering at some girls, and Mario Van Peebles said he heard me in the bathroom talking shit. I was in the bathroom talking shit. I'm like, yeah, the problem is, man, nigga, if they could put me under a microscope and find one molecule in me that gave a fuck, the niggas could angle me, you know? But they can't figure me out because I don't give a fuck about these motherfuckers. So he said, whoever said that's gonna be my movie. Yeah. So then he walks up to me, I'm talking to some females and shit, you know, campaigning, and he you know. So he comes and says, I want you to be in a movie. I thought that was that Hollywood bullshit. Right. You know, when you see somebody from Hollywood, you walk up to them, we should work. That's that bullshit. I'm like, yeah, you be in the movie here. This is who they are, blah, blah, blah. So he said, call Warner Brothers tomorrow. So I called Warner Brothers. They asked me to come there, and he was on the up and up. So I read the script. Scotty, I'm like, yo, dog, this is like all the lines. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, yo, this is a cop. He's like, yeah. I'm like, this nigga got a dreads. I got a perm. Like, I was more upset about the hair than the cop. So I call up the homies. I'm like, yo, they want me to be in a movie, man. You know what I'm saying? They want me to play the police. How you feel about that? Niggas like, word? Could I be in the movie? So then I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna call, you know, I'm talking to my boys in the jail now, you know, so I respect them. I'm like, yeah, you know, I know you in the bowels of the devil and whoop-de-whoop, and we reached you with that money, but they want me to be in this movie. They want me to play the police. How you feel about that? Word? If I was out, could I be in the movie? You know? So, you know, the homies wasn't giving me no guidance, right? So, of course, I'm getting my hair done at Good Fred's, and the girls, I'm telling the girls they were like, yeah, nigga, you better be in that movie because this is an opportunity. And y'all up here complaining about the conditions in the hood. Now you got an open door. If you don't take that, Ice, you's a real live sucker. And plus, we know when you make it, you going to keep it 100, and you going to tell them, well, they didn't say 100 back then, but you going to keep it real. And you gonna tell motherfuckers what's going on down here, not like these other motherfuckers. And if you don't do the movie, don't come the fuck back up in here. So I did the movie, and the movie made $87 million. I got paid $23,000. You're welcome to Hollywood, you know? And but that was the door that led me to the next movie, which was Ricochet with Denzel Washington. That's when I thought I was gonna get paid, right? So Joel Silver's the producer, right? He's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. He does The Matrix. So I'm walking in there like, I'm finna get paid, Jack. It's Denzel, this shit is on, son, it's for real. I walk in there, I say, yeah, man, I'm gonna get paid on this movie. He goes, Ice-T, you've done one movie. So I took it in the ass one more time. It was like, that's a figure of speech. But that movie, I made double the money for less the work. The first movie I really got paid was Tank Girl.
Tank Girl, yes.
I played a kangaroo. Yeah, cause you trying to get checks and it ain't working. So I'm making a movie with Keanu Reeves called Johnny Mnemonic. Keanu Reeves had just done the runaway bus jump off, the gauntlet. Yeah. So he's hot. I'm up there. I'm getting paid. I get a call from my manager. He goes, yo, they want you to play a stripper in Arizona. I'm like, word? Hell fucking yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. So that night I did like 1,000 sit-ups. Cause I always been kind of in shape, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I got to get my LL Cool J buffness on now. Watch this. So I'm in there trying to get swole real quick. And the next day they send me a picture of a kangaroo. And they say the movie's called Tank Girl. I'm like, kangaroos, look at this. What kind of stripper am I? Like, what, I got a pouch? What the fuck is happening? So I'm sitting there, and so I'm like, Lori Petty, this is that. And they told me Stan Winston was doing it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I don't know, am I going backwards? And when they told me how much money they was paying me, I was like, you know what I'm saying? So that I got a check for that. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like $1 million. Damn. And you niggas would hop for $1 million too. So I was like, and then people like, well, you selling out. I mean, let me tell you, selling out is when you do something that goes against your integrity. I wasn't selling slaves or I wasn't. The fuck are you talking about? I have nothing against kangaroos, nothing whatsoever. Nothing. So I was like, yo, I could do the movie and it'll pay for some things. And it allowed me to build a recording studio. Right. See, I follow Orson Welles, and Orson Welles said he didn't like to act. He acted in order to be able to direct. So I learned from that sometimes you got to do what you got to do to be able to do what you want to do, to fund what you. So I was like, I could take that money, I could build my recording studio, and then I don't got to spend money on budgets. This is a move right here. Mm-hmm. So you gotta know how to make those moves, and that led me to more and more movies. Right.
And doing your own thing with the music, continuing to do your thing with the music.
Doing my music, but now from my crib. I had a house now in the hills. I got a studio called the Crack House that everybody in LA recorded in, and I got a situation. Now I'm moving forward.
Was that like around the OG album cover? Is that what that was, or was that a different?
OG album cover? This was after OG. Okay. This is like when we started, the Seventh Deadly Sin and some of the other records. Yeah. We recorded 100% in my house.
Oh, nice. Now, when did OG as a term? When was the first time you heard that?
I heard it. That's a gang term. Mm-hmm. And OGs just mean the originals of a particular set. Like not the second generation, the people who invented the set. Since I'm an older cat, I was around when a lot of these sets were born. There was They had Hoover Crips, 7459 Hoover Crips. I don't even know if there was a 60s back then. It wasn't a 40s. The different gangs just happened.
Yeah.
You know, you had Front Hood. I mean, they didn't have a Front Hood. You just had the regular 60s, and they had the A-Tray gangsters. But some of these gangs came out of nowhere. Like, they would just be born. So the people who start those sets would be the OGs, original gangsters. Then in LA, we also use it for just original. The OG 501s, jeans, those OG Chuck Taylors, anything that was the OG white case Swiss, that first shit, that's that OG shit. Okay, so what happened was I knew the term, and I had 3 albums out. I had I had Rhyme Pays, Iceberg, and Power. When NWA dropped, up to that point, the term gangster rap hadn't been coined. So when Cube came out, and in the first verse of Straight Outta Compton, he says, from a gang called Niggas with Attitude. See, he didn't refer to NWA as a band, a rap group. He referred to them as a gang. So the press called it gangster rap. So I said, okay, well, if this is gangster rap, I'm the original gangster. Yep. And that's where the OG album came from.
I'd like to show a clip, actually. There's a ton of great performances from your career online, but I would like to just show one.
Please don't show no old shit of me looking goofy. This is such a distinguished interview at this point. And now don't play no stunt reel.
No, this is on point.
I'm nervous now.
Can we show the OG performance? Yeah. You gotta tell us about that, because that's a pretty amazing.
Well, you know what
clip.
It was? They called me. They said, you know, Paul Rodriguez is going to do a show behind the walls of San Quentin, and would you go in there and perform? And I'm like, yeah, you know. So it was a lot of security, a lot of shit, but you know what I'm saying? It's like when you gonna if you gonna go up in there with some unauthentic shit, them motherfuckers ain't really with that. You can't go up in there and promote gangsterism and shit. So like they respected me in there enough to perform. Like, you know, you take somebody, you know, right? I'm not gonna make no names because that helps people become famous. Right. Because I'll do this whole 2-hour interview, and then the first time I say a name, that's all they'll show. Yeah. But, you know, rappers that promote like they're big drug dealers and all that old bullshit, and then they go in there, they're not gonna perform that in front of those inmates. Them niggas will be like, shut the fuck up, bitch ass nigga. You ain't done none of that shit. So, you know, you gotta be pretty official. But like, if you listen, Original Gangster is an interesting song, because Original Gangster explains what we just talked about. It explains the transition of me trying to rap like rappers, and then having my friends tell me if the words, 10 years ago, I used to listen to rappers flow, talk about the way they rocked the mic at disco. I liked how that shit was going down. I dreamt about ripping the mic with my own sound. So I tried writing rhymes, something like them. My boy said, that ain't you, Ice. That shit sound like him. So I sat back, thought up a new track. I didn't fantasize, I kicked the pure facts. Motherfuckers got scared because they was unprepared. Who would tell it how it really was? Who dared? A young nigga from the West Coast, LA, South Central fool where the Crips and the Bloods play. When I wrote about parties, it didn't fit. 6 in the morning, that was the real shit. Then the next verse says, when I wrote about parties, someone always died. When I tried to write happy, yo, I knew I lied. Cause I live a life of crime. Why play it blind? A simple looking anyone with 2 cents would know I'm a hardcore player from the streets. Rapping about hardcore topics over hardcore drum beats. A little different than the average though. Jet you through the fast lane, drop you on death row. Cause anybody who's been there knows that life ain't so lovely on the blood-soaked fast track. That invincible shit don't work. I'll throw you in the joint, you'll be coming out feet first. So I blast the mic with my style. Sometimes I'm ill and other times buck wild. But the science is always there. I'd be a true sucker if I act like I didn't care. I rap for brothers just like myself, dazed by the game and a quest for extreme wealth. But I kick it to you hard and real. One wrong move and your cap's peeled. I ain't no superhero, I ain't no Marvel comic, but when it comes to game, I'm atomic. It dropping it straight, point blank and untwisted. No imagination needed, cause I lived it. This ain't no fucking joke. This shit is real to me. I'm Ice-T, OG. So, you know, when you take the rhyme apart, it's literature, and it's explaining something. It's linear. It's, like Chuck says, I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling.
I mean, when this work, along with NWA, became the...
Can I have some of this Red Bull? Because I need some shit. This
Oh,
shit'll have me
absolutely.
talking way faster, too. Here's something I posted on the internet. People said I was a motherfucking lie. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Right.
I never smoked weed. I have no tattoos. I don't get high. People like, that's bullshit. I'm like, nah, it's the truth. Ask the homies, they here. I was the designated sober nigga before they had a name for the designated driver. When I was young, Cat was like, yo, Ice, hit the weed. I'm like, I don't want to hit the weed. Well, you a bitch if you don't hit the weed. Well, if I'm a bitch, make me hit it. Why you tripping? Why you tripping? And then sooner or later, people respected that. Yep. Now, you know, everybody knows I socially drink. Like, if you put a cran and vodka in front of me, I might sip on it a little. I'm not afraid of liquor. Right. I never smoked weed. I never got high. Well, I have done ecstasy because they told me it was a sexual drug, and I had to test that shit out. That shit is good shit. Right. That shit had like choir music coming out the pussy. Like, oh, had a glow around it. I'm like, I understand this drug. But you know, I'm pretty much straight edge, pretty straight edge. Y'all do E too, you done it, you know what happened. The bad thing about that, it'll give you the best sex or the worst argument, depending on what the fuck happens.
I mean, when...
Did we lose topic?
No, we're right on, we're right on.
It's a conversation with Ice-T.
It's flowing.
Get to know me.
I mean, when gangster rap became this phenomenon, you have all of these, you know, spin-offs.
Yeah.
Everybody doing it. This is what you paved the way for. I'm sure there was a point of pride, like I made this happen. You know, I was the foundation of this. But then it has to also be oversaturation.
Well, no, it was a lot of people, right? Okay, so you got me. Then in the Bay, you had Too Short. Yeah. Too Short was doing Freaky Tales. Right. And I met Too Short, and Too Short was just talking about fucking girls. Like, you know, and he had this real basic rhyme. You know, I met this girl, her name was Sally. You know, I'm like, this little thing is crazy, right? So I met him, like, he had these drug dealers that were sponsoring him. It's called 69 Girls. I think drug dealers / pimps, these some players. So they met, they said, we gonna meet you and Too Short up early. So they brought him, and me and him became friends. See, this was a game, like, let's not create beef where, you know, if he knew I'm popping in LA and he's in, let's just let them meet and they could become friends. So me and Short have been friends since the very beginning. Then down in Houston, Ghetto Boys popped off, okay? They was on some old real ridiculous gangster shit. In New York, there was a group called Mob Style, which was Alpo and them, Pretty Tony, and they was active gangsters in Harlem. So I was aware of who was doing it, but prior to me, I was the first person to step across the line. Now, I was inspired by Schoolie D. Schoolie D made a record called PSK, which was about the Parkside Killers. I was at a club, first time I heard PSK, and I was like, this is the dopest shit. Because the way, I hope they play PSK tonight at the party, but it comes on like, it's like, it sounds like angel dust, and I don't do dust, but I feel that's what it sounds like. Right. And you know, Schoolie was like, PSK, we making that green. People always say, what the hell? I'm like, who's this pimp ass nigga? Like, you know, everyone was yelling on the mic. And I'm like, this is the flyest shit. So then I searched the record down, and they said he's singing about Parkside Killers, but it wasn't graphic. The only thing he says in the record is, one by one, I'm knocking you out. Then he says, I put my pistol up against his head, says, suck ass nigga, I should shoot you dead. I was like, this is some fly shit. So I took the cadence from that and made 6 in the morning. So if you listen to PSK, we making that green, 6 in the morning, police at my door, the same cadence. I took the music from Mythological to do Colors. There's a guy named King Son who had a record called Mythological. Mythological. And this is all musicians are influenced by other music. You know, it's only biting if you can absolutely tell. I tell you I'm influenced by this song, you're like, I never knew that. Because that's how musicians work. But Mythological, King Son says, when I get ill, it's a reason, because it's duck season, hunter of the fronter. And when I did Colors, I said, I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. So I'm like taking his energy and vibe, but rocking with my own words. And that's how these shit started to happen. Now, Cube was a little homie. Cube was going to Arizona University. And he used to come to the shows and shit. And then when they were Wrecking Crew, then he was in CIA, and then they became NWA. And you know, out comes the Boys in the Hood, which he called 6 in the morning Part 2. Because 6 in the morning, police at my door. The boys in the hood are always hard. So these all records kind of inspired the next one.
How much did Rakim influence you? Because when I listen back to some of, you know, this Power era, Iceberg, you know, I feel like I hear Rakim's influence on you as well.
Well, Rakim made everybody want to learn how to flow. Yeah. When you heard, because everyone was rapping a certain way, like Run DMC, and then Rakim started rhyming, and you were like, this shit is just the most smooth style. You know, take you on a walk through hell, freeze your dome and watch your eyeballs swell, guide you out of triple stage darkness. You know, like, I'm like, this nigga right here is the best rapper in the history of the world. But see, certain rappers, I tried to get my flow more smoother and better. When I heard Das Effects, I thought I was gonna have to quit. I'm like, I can't rap like that. Like, I heard certain people, and you're like, yo, when I heard Twister, I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. I can't out-rap these niggas. But then I would write rhymes like, I hear your style, although you rhyme quicker. No matter what you do, I always lace mine thicker. Jealousy will make a fool die quicker than liquor. Watch your back with your niggas, because it's right where they'll stick you. So my thing was to not just out-rap you, but have thicker, heavier content. Yeah. So, because I used to see people win in battles. I seen cats go out and do 36 bars and then seen somebody eat them with 8 bars. So I knew that it was content. Rakim, of course, Melly Mel was an inspiration. You know, Big Daddy Kane, everybody, KRS-One. You know, Cube to me was the best LA rapper. You know, like his energy, his excitement, his youth. And the first verse is Straight Outta Compton. To me, that was the hardest rap record ever made. When them niggas came on like that, I was like, hold the fuck up, you know? And I never felt in competition with NWA because it was 3 or 4 of them. You know, I was a soloist. So we were friends. We used to tour together, DOC, Cube. You know, thing about LA hip hop is a very small tree. Yeah. It's Ice-T, which I created the Syndicate, which is a group of groups with a common goal. Delicious Vinyl, and NWA, and who they became. All those, so you could call Dre, you could call Cube, you could call me. You know, I was connected to Cypress Hill through Muggs, and you could squash beef. The only beef that ever happened on the West Coast was NWA, and that was a family feud. And we all had to step out of it, except when Cube was fighting with Cypress Hill, but we kind of stayed out of that too. There's never been no real West Coast beefs.
I mean, you mentioned content, obviously, layers of content. And as controversy followed you, well, I remember you on Oprah back in the day, and it's
that's when Oprah was like Donahue.
Right. And, you know, with Tipper Gore, Nelson George, and Jello Biafra. And I think it was frustrating even for me as a viewer for your lyrics to be taken out of context and isolated, you know, and examined in a way that was not really showing the full scope of what you were doing. And I just wanted to know how frustrating it was. If it was frustrating for me just watching it, I can only imagine how being under the microscope and being targeted this way constantly, because you were a spokesperson.
Well, see, the thing of it is, you can't worry about that. Like, if I know you're not basically on the same level of intelligence of a topic that we're talking about, I can't debate you. Yeah. So if you're like a real music journalist and you really understand the business, me and you can have a deep discussion. But when somebody from left field, that's like somebody that doesn't know football attacking football. Like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Right. Like, you know, so when people would attack the music first, you don't even listen to rap. Like, you don't even understand the first thing about it. So that shit just rolls off of me. Only time I might ever feel attacked is if I'm attacked by my peers. Yeah. If somebody who I think should know better, like when the Source magazine came at me, but I went at them. I called them fuck Source, you know, because you can't kick me. You can't put me in there as Artist of the Year and then on the back cover diss me like you trying to play both. You either my friend or foe. Right. So that offends me. But other than that, you know, people that don't understand shit, you know, that's like me attacking, you know, atomic fusion or some shit. Like me getting at some people, oh, well, your accelerator and it's too big. You know, just shut the fuck up, Ice. You don't even know what this shit is. And you over here worrying about how big it is and fuck you, you know? Right. So it doesn't really offend me. As soon as I know, you know, I saw this movie on Jim Morrison. And when he was in the, you know, the Doors, and this journalist was talking shit to him, and he had the best answer. He just says, maybe you don't understand it. Right. And that's the answer. Like, you just don't understand it.
I'd like to show another clip. This is from '92, I think, because I know you've talked.
Oh Lord!
I know you've talked about Body Count and Cop Killer forever, but I just feel like this is a sort of representation of the sort of things that you were dealing with at the time.
Here we go. I didn't know this was going to be this type of situation.
This is from '92, Ice-T.
That interview was from last week. Same shit, same dumbass topics, same out-of-touch white lady.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that was in Australia. So I started the interview saying like, yo, you can't really, if you haven't dealt with these topics, it's impossible for you to really understand them and have compassion for them. You understand? It's like right now, Harvey Weinstein is in trouble because he's touching women, he's doing a lot of wrong things. Women feel that. As a man, as much as you side with the women, it didn't happen to you. So your feeling is there, but it's not as real as it is for those women that have gone through that stuff, to deal with that type of bullshit day in and day out. So a lot of times people have to understand that these issues are real, but I can't really empathize with them absolutely. You know, when someone white says, I understand the black struggle, I'm like, impossible. It's impossible. You know, it has to happen to you. You have to go through it to really understand it. But I understand the allies and the people that want to come close. But, you know, like I say, the easiest way to make somebody mad about racism is tell them it doesn't exist. And then you'll get them mad. But a lot of black people really haven't dealt with adverse racism. Maybe, you know, they haven't been to the South. There's degrees of it. Oh, well, you know, one time I walked in a spot and the people followed me around. You ain't been down in Mississippi and some of that shit. Right. You know, I've been all over the world, and I've learned this, that humans don't get along, period. Don't give a fuck where you're from. The human animal is a very combative animal. So where in the United States we have black on white situations because of the adversity that went here. If you go to Asia, you know, Chinese, Japanese people, Korean people, they mad at each other. Then you go to London, they don't hate black people, they hate Indian people. You know, every place you go. I remember I was in Australia, right? So I'm with the coolest white boy I ever met in my life. I love you. Move next door to me, live with me, you know. Make love to my wife, you know, that kind of motherfucker. So I'm rolling, I'm like, I want to go to the Outback. He goes, no, we don't want to go there. I said, why? He said, you might run into a bunk. I said, what's a bunk? He said, that's an Aboriginal. That's the sound they make when you hit them with the truck. Wow. See? So a lot of racism is right under the surface. Yeah. It's just not racism towards you. But you got friends that are like, I'm not racist, but then they'll say a racial slur to somebody Asian or somebody Indian or somebody Arab. You know, it's an evil human trait.
One of my favorite quotes from your first book, The Ice Opinion, is, and I know you've said this in songs as well, but fuck the First Amendment, it was written by lunatics.
Well, the whole Constitution was written by lunatics.
Yeah.
I mean, the same day they signed, if they read the Constitution, it also says you can own people, right? You know, black people are a portion of a man, we're a certain percent. It has a lot of crazy shit in there, and they all read it. Looks good to me, and they signed that shit. So they were all lunatics if you believe you could own people, but you know, then they made amendments. But that first document was full of wild shit. Yeah. It was full of wild shit. And now the fact that we're still holding on to the Constitution is crazy.
Well, yeah. So since the 90s, you've been addressing mass incarceration, environmental issues, fear-mongering as a method of controlling people,
Donald Trump.
The religious rights efforts to suppress art.
Pretty much everything Trump does.
Very familiar sounding. How do you gauge what kind of progress, if any, has been made?
I don't know, man. You know, I think a lot of progress has been made. Yeah. I think people are getting smarter. People are also delusional, too. You know, I study a lot of the philosophers. Most of them go insane because you think too much. I just don't think you're ever going to be peace. I think that this is just the way this earth is going to be. We live in these bubbles of like-minded individuals, and we move from bubble to bubble. Give you an example. We like hip-hop. We're all here. This is a hip-hop bubble. But say, for instance, you play chess. I don't play chess, so you'll leave this bubble and you'll go to your bubble of chess playing friends, okay? Some of these people want to go smoke weed, so they'll go in their weed bubble. And you keep transferring from like-minded friends to other like-minded friends, and this is how you move around. But none of us all stay in the same bubble all the time. So humans are searching for peace. The problem is everyone's peace infringes on other people's peace. Like me and you are neighbors. I like playing my music loud at 2 a.m. You want to sleep. You want peace, I want peace. It's never gonna work. To a serial killer, killing is happiness to this motherfucker, right? But he's looking for happiness. So everyone in their search of happiness will infringe on everybody. You're like, oh, we need clean energy. Fuck that. I want my Ferrari, I want my gas, and you can eat a dick. I don't give a fuck. Then you're trying to get people to care about something that's gonna occur after they die. Humans, selfish humans, to really care about something that's gonna happen in 100 years? Motherfuckers don't care what's gonna happen tomorrow. So we're in a world of these animals with we can do and thing. We have this ability to make choices. The cool thing about humans is a human will do the worst possible shit and then wonder why they did it. We will all do it. You'll fuck over your best friend. You'll cheat on your spouse. You'll do some shit and say, what the fuck? Because humans are fucking, we can't control ourselves. So the theory that there's gonna be some kind of blanket euphoric scenario where everybody's gonna get along, forget about that shit. It's not gonna happen ever. This earth is made up of a whole bunch of little gangs and a whole bunch of little cliques. And also we preach gang culture to our kids, not knowing it. Your street is better than the street next to it. Your school is better than the other school. Your team is better. Your religion is better. That's gang banging. We're better. The skinny girls are better than the fat girls. Everybody is picking a team and a side, and then we bang on each other. Go to Houston and the Dodgers in Houston. Motherfuckers will kill each other. Them motherfuckers is dead serious about it. It's a game, but some people say, no, we're really better, and that's the problem. So what I do? Keep my black ass in the house playing Xbox. I keep my black ass. I got my wife, I got my little kid. I keep my friends that I like, and they can only stay in my house when they're in my bubble, when they're doing the shit I like. When they want to leave, when they want to do some shit they like, they gotta leave my bubble and take their ass some fucking where else. Doesn't mean they can't get back in my bubble, but they can't get back in my bubble with that bullshit. And that's how I roll.
Right.
You wanna hear a joke? Sometimes when I'm home, I sit on the floor, I put my knees in real close to my chest, I put my hands around my legs like this, and I lean forward real slow. That's how I roll. I got jokes. I mean, people don't know, man. I'm a funny dude. People interviews, they come over my house, they expect to see motherfuckers on meat hooks and shit and stripper poles and shit. I'm like, nah, I'm pretty civilized.
All right, let's play something. Let's play one more civilized song.
Well, what's your question? You know that was the first version of it.
Yeah.
I was sitting with brother Marquise from 2 Live Crew, and he was telling me how he missed Whoop, There It Is. Now, Whoop, There It Is was a big hit record back in the day. Whoop, right. There it is. And what that was a song that the DJs from Magic City made that record. Okay. And when the girls would strip and when they would bend over and you could see it, they go, whoop, there it is. That's where it came from. And Marquise was like, nigga, they saying that shit right in my face. That was the phrase that pays, right? Yeah. And right after that, he says, man, I got 99 problems, or the bitch ain't one. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? And he said it again. And I said, that's a song. So you know, in my mind, I got DJ Ace, and I went to make a record, and the song was all about different types of girls. I got a hoe from the East, I got a hoe from the West, I got a hoe that likes to jack it off and rub it in her chest. I got a bitch from the North, a bitch from the South, a bitch that loves to suck it long and hold it in her mouth. Bitch with hair, bitch with none, bitch with a knife, bitch with a gun. So I'm naming off all these different bitches, but at the end I go, and I love them all. They love me. I love them all. I love them crazily, and they love me back. That's why they stay with me. So if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems, and a bitch ain't one. Hit me. Now, that's the song. That was on the Home Invasion album. It's like my 5th album, I think. So Chris Rock is my friend. Chris Rock and me became brothers from New Jack City. So Rick Rubin was with Chris Rock, and he was like, yo, man, I'm about to work with Jay-Z. I need some ideas. And Chris Rock said, you got to do this record. So they took it to Jay-Z. Jay-Z listened to it, and he put his spin on it. And, you know, I got paid. They paid publishing for it, you know, and the record came out. The cold thing that got me with Jay, he didn't only take the 99 Problems and the Girl Ain't One, he took the Hit Me. The Hit Me got me more than the rest of it, because he goes, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems and the bitch ain't one. Hit me. The nigga took my Hit Me. The Hit Me, like this nigga went in, like I'm taking that too, nigga. But, you know, it was music, you know. Now people like, well, why Jay-Z didn't give you a shout out? You know, he could have said that. But that ain't really Jay-Z's get down. Jay-Z just does his thing. You know, I would have liked, if he had said, yo, I could have said my name in it like DJ Khaled at the end of it. Ice, you know, do something, you know. I mean, Jay-Z's super duper, you know. I remember I met Jay-Z. Big Daddy Kane brought Jay-Z over my house back in the day. And Jay came over, he was wearing a little backpack and shit. Like he was rapping with this guy named Jazz. He had a record out called Hawaiian Sophie. He was a young kid, and he was just sucking the game up. And we would talk, and Jay was listening to every, see, like we got fucked for our publishing. Jay-Z didn't. He was a student to where every G that he would be around, he would take their game and apply it. So you got to take your hats off to Jay-Z, because Jay-Z was just that smart. I remember we put him in a Bentley, him and Dame got my Bentley, and they was like, why this Rolls got a B on it? I'm like, you niggas is from the hood, for real, you know? Like, this is a Bentley, this is kind of like a, but they was my niggas, you know? And we took Jay-Z off to Sway and Tech. And that was the first time I seen somebody just rap like that without writing. He was just made a rhyme up in his head. He sat there for a minute and stuff. But he's like a prodigy. He's a special person. He has that ability. Everybody can't do that. So respect to Jigga.
And you actually reclaimed this song by redoing it again.
We did it with Body Count.
With Body Count, right.
Yeah, we did it on the on the Manslaughter album. We remade the record just for the hell of it. The record label wanted to do it. They like, yo, we want to bring it back. You know, I'm not somebody right now that's in search of any type of credit. I mean, I've had a very extreme life, a very extreme career. I've gotten my share of everything. People say, well, you don't get enough respect. I'm like, if I got more respect, motherfuckers would carry me around. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. I'm good, you know? I don't feel anybody owes me shit. When Dre got $1 billion, people call me up. Did Dre give you some money? I'm like, what the fuck Dre supposed to give me some money for? Dre paid me the $20 he owed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that that's how this game goes, but no, it's like you eat what you kill. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to go out here and bust your ass, and that's why I got so many different jobs, you know, because I like fly shit. I want fly shit, and it just don't come from sitting on your ass. So when I figured out I could, you know, do a little acting, do a little rapping, create another band, write a couple books, produce some TV show, do all the directing. I'm just trying to do everything. You're only here for a short period of time, man. You know, and, you know, you're gonna sleep whether you want to or not. You're gonna sleep, you're gonna have to. You're gonna pass out. In between that, bust your ass. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Sleeping is not a choice. You will go unconscious. So when that happens, go unconscious. Then when you get your ass up, get back to work. You dig what I'm saying? But just sitting around, you know, I used to go to work. I would get up at 5 in the morning. I'm on the set, busting my ass. Then I had niggas calling me at 1 in the afternoon. Yo, I'm fucked up. Yeah, you fucked up, nigga. You woke up at 1 in the afternoon, nigga. Like, what is really good? You was out all night and all that, and, you know, it requires a grind. This week grind, I came out here Saturday, rehearsed, did the Loudwire Music Awards Tuesday, got on a plane Wednesday, flew back to New York, did Law and Order Thursday, Friday, got back on a plane this morning, got here an hour ago. I'm sitting here, I'm gonna do Uncle Jam's Army, get on a flight back to New York because I gotta be back on the set Monday at 5. Yeah. So, you know, you gotta be willing to put in that level of work. It just doesn't drop out of the motherfucking sky.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing...
I like this couch. See, I'm so glad that you had some luxury so we could luxuriate during this shit. But I mean, I'm lacking, I mean, I thought a cold glass of water or some shit should be within arm's reach. Something for a player, but you got Red Bull, and this is a Red Bull event, so we gonna blow this up. And Red Bull, need to cut me a motherfucking check, cause I believe I have wings. And you know, I got a daughter now. I got a 1-year-old daughter, so I ain't turned down no kind of work. No kind of work. You know, I mean, I got to hustle the rest of the way out, man. I got a little daughter. Her mama, that little girl got expensive taste already. You know what I'm saying? So I got to hustle. Yeah. You do.
No doubt. I think we're gonna open it up for questions. If anybody
Let's do some
has
questions, because I done rambled enough. And the thing of it is I can answer questions about so many different things, whether it's music, whether it's film, television, streets. Yes. I know a lot of shit. And I'll tell you the truth. I think my brand is honesty. Yeah. I think, you know, people go Ice, even if Ice is doing a lemonade commercial, that motherfucker does not give a fuck, and he's just being Ice, you know? So once you find out that that's what your brand is, it's a blessing, because you just do you and you don't have to fake the funk. So let's ask some questions. They're dark out there. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. Do we have a question?
Just yell it.
Guys.
My name is Kevin Clark from OKPlayer.com. I just wanted to ask you, if you had to define your style using your favorite video game, what would it be?
Define my style?
Yeah, your rap style or your
Resident Evil.
Okay. Can you elaborate, like why?
Just that, you know, I'm just wandering through the hip hop game, you know, find the right room where I'm supposed to be, and motherfuckers is jumping out at me and I got a shotgun.
All right, thanks, bro.
What kind of question was that? Yo, but you know, yeah. I mean, that was my favorite game. It's my favorite game. Question.
All right, who's next?
All right, I got a question.
Is there another mic?
Okay,
Two. That's good.
There are 2 mics, so we'll alternate.
Go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, respect, guys. Been a fan since Colors came out when I was in elementary school. Got a question. The Art of Rap documentary was incredible, an incredible contribution to hip-hop culture. I wanted to know if you had any other documentaries planned for the future, and if so, what would be the topic?
Art of Rap was done. I was sitting at home, I was just watching TV, and I mean, I just felt hip hop was going on a severe turn downward. You know, lack of skills, and it just, I said, you know what? A documentary is supposed to document things. So let me see, can I grab the hip hop I remember, the people that were a part of my life while they're still alive. And if you notice at the end of The Art of Rap, how many people had passed, we had that scrolling of all the people that we lost in hip hop. And I'm like, you're not gonna be able to get Dr. Dre, Afrika Bambaataa. You ain't gonna be able to get all these people. So I wanted to capture that. And I just said, look, we're not gonna talk about beef, cars, money. We're gonna talk about the craft. And I think we came off with a great project. Now we have the Art of Rap Tour, which has been touring for the past 3 years, where I try to pick people that represent the craft. My man Henji is doing the Art of Rap Latino, trying to go down into Mexico and represent that. I'm not gonna do another one. That's for you to do. People say, well, you didn't reach the South of this. I could only deal with my journey. And at the end of that, I had a 3-hour movie, which had to get cut to 90 minutes to get in Sundance. That meant I had to cut some of my friends out. That was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But my future is I want to do film and direct. I got a movie that I wrote and I'm working on now called The Dark, which is a kind of horror movie, kind of a little Dexter, a little Saw, because with the success of Get Out, I think people are ready for that. So it's a revenge-based movie. There's an old movie called Dr. Phibes with Vincent Price, and it's got to be Ice-T, it's got to be Resident Evil, it's got to be The Dark Side. Like Q, he went and did a lot of comedies and stuff, and I take my hat off to that, but now I can't do no motherfucking comedy. So I gotta do a movie that when you see it, people go, yo, this shit, I don't know if I like that shit. Like, yo, Ice fuck with me bad. Like, I want to fuck your head up. So it'll have a weird cult side to it. I talked to Quentin Tarantino about helping me with the film. And he said, I can't help you, Ice. First off, you've been making movies your whole career. What are all these albums? These are movies. And he says, and if I help you, people are going to give me the credit. He says, so you go do the movie. When it's time, it'll be the shit. So that's my next thing, a feature film. It'll be very bizarre, probably hated. Question.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming out. I wanted to know if you, with suicide that's happening right now with the millennials, I wanted to know if you were involved in any nonprofit organization according for youth and music and the importance of it, or would you like to be part of that?
I'm not against it. I mean, I noticed that, kids are going through lots of suicide and things of that nature. I think with the internet, a lot of that is fueling the fire, a lot of the bullying and things of that nature. But, we talking about music. I mean, I was listening to 3 different records the other day talking about I want to die. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like suicide music, you know what I'm saying? I never said that. Even Pac and Big were writing Ready to Die, Move records. And I'm like, that's one topic you won't ever hear me talk about. I'm not trying to jinx myself. I'm trying to live around this motherfucker, right? I'm not, but I would be, I'm not against it. I have so many charities and people. Most of my money has always gone toward gang prevention and intervention because that's the closest thing to me. I think when you pick a charity, you have to pick something that you are really involved with. Like people that are into cancer, they usually have lost somebody to cancer or different things like that, AIDS. Well, most of my friends have died out in these streets.
Right.
So that's really what my heart is with gang prevention and intervention. But I'm willing to talk later. You could talk to my people.
Yes, I actually got a card here for our upcoming event for youth, so I would like to give that to you.
That's beautiful. Well, no,
So,
we'll hold
thank
on to
you.
that and we'll do that later, okay?
Thank you so
You going
much.
to the Uncle Jam's party?
Damn right. Yes.
That's a trick question. That's where you can hand me that at the party.
Okay. I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I got a question going back to Club Radio.
Yes, sir.
And Glove and I were talking on the way over here, and I want to thank you. And my question is, I was always amazed on how you kept the violence outside the club. I just always remember you saying, it's about the music, it's about the music.
Well, it wasn't that hard at radio, because the hood didn't really know the radio existed. The radio was like in the cut at MacArthur, and the only cats that really knew it was word of mouth. Like I remember I brought Spike and all my homies over there, and I'm like, it's a club by MacArthur Park, and they're like, where? I'm like, it's hip hop. I'm like, where? I'm like, there's white bitches. Well, okay, let's go. Where we going, B? Pick me up. Yep, and we got there, and I just showed up, and it was a place to practice my craft, and Alex kind of made me the head of the stage. Like Glove, do you know how Glove got his name? Do you? Not by me. By Alex. Glove was bringing the equipment in, and Alex said, yo, I need a DJ, and Glove said I could DJ, and he goes, you need a DJ name, and he had on gloves. He says, you the Glove tonight. It's a true story. Am I wrong, Glove? That's how it happened. And then Glove was spinning every night, and then I just kind of like became the rapper, and we just became friends. And I remember one night, Madonna was there, and they like, there's this girl downstairs that says she can sing. And I'm like, who is she? Madonna. Never heard of her. No, she had this one record called Physical Attraction. She's new. So we like take her downstairs, and she shows me the album cover. I'm like, okay, come on, you're gonna go. And what I would do is I would introduce people at the radio like they were the biggest shit. I'm like, just from a world tour, her helicopter just landed in the parking lot. It's about to go down right now, y'all. Madonna. I would do this for anybody, and then if you sucked, I'm like, I'll never introduce you again. So Madonna came out, she started singing Sexual Attraction, and at that time I had a girlfriend named Lisa. So I ended up becoming part of Madonna's show. She's dancing, next thing you know, she's taking off my shirt and playing with me and shit, and I'm just going along with it. And then my girl was pissed. I'm like, I was part of the show, But I was feeling it, that shit was fun. But Madonna went on, she was there with Jelly Bean Benitez that night. She went on, and actually me and her ended up signed to the same label, Sire. So it was interesting. I ran back into her once she was super mega wealthy and stuff. And, I said, Madonna, she knew, she remembered Ice and da-da-da. It was good shit back in the day, the radio. But we never really had a violence factor at the radio. Uncle Jam's Army, on the other hand, got gangster. Once the Rolling 60s found out that the sports arena was close, was just like catch the 5 and catch that bus. You could just ride right up you could pull right up in front of the sports arena. It was on, and they would come deep. I remember, it got pretty heavy, but nobody ever got killed at an Uncle Jam's Army party. So that's one plus. You might get stomped the fuck out, but no one ever got
So see you
murdered.
tonight.
No gunfire. Nothing, right? Nobody ever got shot. So, yes, sir. Oh, somebody got shot? Good. What's up, baby? Where'd they get shot? I remember Rory got his ass at the Shrine. Yeah. But not, it wasn't indoors. It was outdoors. It was inside your shit. Yeah, the one thing about throwing a party is once you let the people out, a lot of people are outside that never came to the party, so LA is an inherently dangerous place, especially when you bring people from all over to one place. You got cats that never seen each other and are sworn enemies.
Real quick, do you recall much about breaking and entering? I know everyone talks about breaking, but the documentary Breaking and Entering was before that.
It was a guy named Topper Carew wanted to do a little thing on breakdancing, and it was a documentary. A girl named Kelly Minter was involved with it, and they just kind of ran around. Egyptian Lover was in it, Glove was in it, and it was one of the early documentaries about the LA scene. The good thing about it, all of us are friends, and it was easy to get. Just even like getting me here, You know, if Gid and these guys call me, I'm gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't for them. I mean, I wouldn't, see, the thing of it is like, Gid and them didn't give me my first record deal, but they gave me the first chance to see hope, like there's something else. Because Gid and them knew when they was dealing with me, I was, you know, one foot in the grave, another one on a banana peel. I wasn't gonna be a rapper, but they were the first people in the streets that was getting money legit. And I was doing the numbers. Everybody else wasn't doing the numbers, but I was in there looking, and when they would do the Biltmore or something, I'm like, these niggas got 200,000 up in this motherfucker. You know, so I was figuring it out, and I knew I could never really be part of them, but I was aware that that was a hustle, and it was inspiring. Question.
I'm a little short, so I gotta take this out. First off, thank you so much for coming out here. It's been amazing hearing you talk. My name is Kelsey. I write for Earmilk, and I'm also a host of a radio show. And I love to ask all artists who come on my show the same question. I would love to ask you, when exactly did you first fall in love with hip hop? And I know that you've talked about Iceberg really influencing your style and everything, but when was it like a time when you were just like, yo, this is it, this is the shit, hip hop's amazing, and not just like as a career, but just the music itself?
I was in the Army, and when you're in the Army, you're with people from all over the country. And the guys from New York had tapes. They had the tapes of Flash, and they had tapes of the radio stations. And I was like, yo, that's cool. And of course, I think the record that broke everybody was Rapper's Delight. And when Rapper's Delight came on, hip hop is just some kind of amazingly fun sounding thing. Like hearing people rap like that was just amazing. Now, I thought I could do it. See, the trip with hip hop is it's a culture, but it's tangible. It's not like if you go to an opera and you can hear and see an opera or watch somebody figure skate and you say, I can never do it. But with hip hop, with a little practice, you could do it. So with a rapper, now to be a rapper, you have to no practice. Just say any motherfucking thing, just fuck it. Don't even got to be on beat. Just Percocet, Molly, Percocet, like fuck it. But with a little practice, you could be a DJ. With a little practice, you could be a break dancer. So it wasn't so far out of reach. But nah, it was when I heard Rapper's Delight. Because I had, previous to that, I used to write gangbanger rhymes. And I would write rhymes at Crenshaw before I even knew what hip hop was. And want to hear a gangbanger rhyme, a pre-hip hop rhyme? Here go one. This is when I used to live at this area with my man Franzel in Triangle Park, and we was like we had convinced the niggas at Crenshaw that we had 100 people, but it was 3 of us in the gang. But we had them scared. But it went like this. Now this is 5 years, 10 years before anybody heard of rap. I said, fall into a party on a Saturday night and I left the pad down and out for a fight. Had on a waistline leather, Levi's cuffed. Under the coat, I knew I was buff because I was driving that iron getting ready for the set. And I was packing a punch a nigga never forget. The ring in my ear was hanging halfway to the floor, and I was so tight I walked sideways out the door. Now the hoopty was lifted front, side, and rear. Glass was all tinted, wasn't none of it clear. It was Kragered down, Kragers. It was Kragered down with a cold-ass pearl, deepest diamond tuck in the goddamn world. I had quadraphonic headphones with the tone you could fix. Under the seat, I had a 30-06. Now, on the way to the party, I was scraping and hopping because I knew by the night there was going to be some popping. When I got to the set, I just let it lay on the ground. The Buddhists came to check it out from Chinatown. Now, when I fell in the party, there was women for days. I was looking crazy in some hellified ways. I just walked in the corner, listened as they talk. First James Brown record, I jumped up and crip walked. Now, I was walking so hard, couldn't no one compete. I was about to turn out the party with my goddamn feet. But then some nigga went and got out of line, and his nose, my fist, had no trouble to find. After driving the iron so hard on that day, I punched his grill in one hell of a way. But his partners fell out, and so did mine. Squabbing went on for quite a long time. Then all of a sudden I heard some popping. I knew not too soon this fight would be stopping. I seen 22s, 38s, and a 45. I knew not too much would be left alive. Niggas broke out in a goddamn rage. I even think I seen a sawed-off gauge. Because I was sent from hell, not heaven, I broke out with the chrome-plated 357. And the name of the game is simply survival. At the end of the night, 10 was dead on arrival. And me and my partners, we was gone like the winds. Police blamed it on the Crips of the Brims. But some niggas knew in the corner in the dark, them crazy niggas reside in Triangle Park. They go by the name of Burnett, Zell, and Trey. And they belong to the association called the EPA. We call ourselves the Eliminators Pimpin' Association. That's some shit. I would do that at Crenshaw and entertain people. And so when I heard Rapper's Delight, I'm like, I could do it. The problem is that's not syncopated to a beat. So it took a while for me to learn how to rhyme on beat. Some people still think I can't do it, but that's when I fell in love, because it was something that came out that I thought I was already good at.
Dope, dope. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay?
We got one more?
Let's do 3 more.
3 more?
Let's do 3 more.
Three
I mean,
more.
you know, make it beautiful.
All right, let's make it beautiful.
Always
All right.
add, give them a little extra. Okay. Yes, sir.
When I was growing up, I grew up on 3 people that mentored my life forever, and they all came from the hip hop world. One of the guys was named Steve Yano. He used to sell mixtapes with Sir Jinx and Dr. Dre at the Rhodium Swap Meet. One of my greatest mentors, and I learned my work ethic from this gentleman. The second person I learned my work ethic from was Roger Clayton. If it were not for this guy, I wouldn't have the work ethic and the drive I have in my life today. And I thank his family for creating who I am today.
That's real talk.
Yeah, and the second
Respect to Roger. Rest in peace, my dude.
See, I grew up with Egyptian Lover and Arabian Prince, and the first place where they DJ'd at was the Cave in Lenox, California.
Real talk.
Yeah. And the second thing is a question. How did the Soulja Boy beef start?
Want to get there?
Huh?
You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, this is what happened. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I did a mixtape with some of my friends, and I was in the mix booth, right, getting ready to rap. And right before I go in, they like, they poking the line. They like, motherfuckers don't want to hear you, nigga. They want to hear Hurricane Chris and Soulja Boy. Now you can't tell a nigga like me that. So me thinking I'm in a studio, I just went on an Ice-T rant. Right. Now, nowadays you can't even rant because motherfuckers got cameras and telephones and everything around you. Like I could be in a studio and I'm talking to you and I look over and the homie got a camera. Like, what the fuck is that? Nigga, this is Hood TV, nigga, right now. Turn that shit off. I mean, I might segue into a murder at any moment, you know what I'm saying? So, but that moment, they were talking shit, so of course I was like, man, fuck you. They taped it. Okay. And they put that at the beginning of their mixtape. It was never meant to get out. It was just me talking shit. It wasn't personal. So by the time people heard it, it sounded like I just woke up out of my bed and went in on dude. I don't even know dude, right? So later, it came out, and then he said some shit like that to me, and my son was like, you gotta reply, you gotta reply. So I said some more shit, but that's why I don't say names, because this shit turns into something that's bigger than what we're out to do. I have nothing against Soulja Boy. I have nothing against anybody, really. I have an opinion, Just like if you ask Celine Dion about singers, I'm sure she has an opinion. But it's not hate, it's not, I don't want this cat to eat or whatever, he's a kid, whatever. It's not that deep. But the internet will turn it into something deep and try to make it into more, because that's what they feed off nowadays. So I had to learn my lesson. So, you know.
No, I just have a quick thing to say. Will hip hop?
You're Soulja Boy's father? You came to kill me?
No. I'm just.
You came to kill me. Oh, it's on.
I'm just a student of the game. Will hip hop go back to its roots?
No.
But that's where it deserves to go back to the roots.
Well, you could say that forever.
Yeah.
One thing I learned from Quincy Jones is it's not going backwards. Things will always go forward. There's nothing, you ain't getting rid of smartphones. You ain't getting rid of it. Shit will continually go forward. And if you don't progress with it, then you're going to be a dinosaur. You don't have to be a fan of it, but that's the future. Here, let me tell you about hip hop. Hip hop follows the drug. Whatever the drug is, that's what hip hop sounds like. Okay?
Got it.
I come from the crack era. That's where Wu-Tang Clan comes from. DMX. That's that. Yeah. Because coke has you like amped, like, yo, fuck that. Wow. Right? Now niggas is on cough syrup. So it's a sedative. And so they dancing like this. They just like, yo. Like, so they're on prescription medicine. That's heroin. So it's kind of like a sedative. So like if you come yelling at these new rappers, you fucking up my high. They just want a Molly Percocet, Molly, Percocet. So until the drug changes, the music's gonna sound like that. So you got to get to talk to the drug dealers.
Exactly. Thanks for your time.
We need like crystal meth to be big, and then music will get back amped. I'm just making jokes, you dumb motherfuckers.
Thanks for the time, Ice.
But it's true. The music does follow the drug. Track the movement. Okay. Two more.
I think we got, two more.
Two more.
Hi.
All right, how you doing, sir?
You're the last one, sweetheart.
Okay.
All right. I'll let her go. Let's end with the woman.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. There is a gentleman left in California.
I don't think it's not on. Or is it? Yeah, okay. Hi. So I write conscious rap, and this is kind of an interesting segue from what you just said.
Yes.
But right now, a lot of people don't listen to conscious rap until you've actually made a name for yourself. And if the beat slaps, people are going to listen to it. So it doesn't really matter what you're saying. Did you ever experience during your time with your music career, having to change the way your music sounded so that the community would vibe with it?
See, I come from a different era where if the record wasn't on the radio, kids wanted it. Like they went to record stores. I had a girl over my house and she was looking at the gold and platinum records and she says, "You sold a lot of records. When?" I said, "When people used to go to the record store." She said, "What's a record store?" Right? 21-year-old girl. So you're in a different era. Now, that being said, I never got played on the radio. I never got, K-Day, they never fucked with me. It was when Chuck says too black, too strong, he meant for BET. BET never fucked with me. They never fucked with Cube. They never fucked with KRS-One. So the lane you're taking, you know who's gonna embrace you? White people. And when the white people embrace you, like I said, the black people like, she's hers, she's ours. They'll come. Have you been to a reggae concert? Yeah. It's all white people. It's all white people. Because white people are more interested in the black struggle than black people. Because black people, like, I've been through that shit. I know what you're talking about. I don't need you to tell me how fucked up it is. But white people are like, wow, I'm learning. Real talk. I believe I predicted the future. If you want to go, I'm going to just say this before this. If you want to go see Ice-T predict the future, go to the internet and put in Ice-T predicts iTunes. And 5 years before iTunes came out, I predicted the exact format that they're working on right now, everything from my house. Now, my next prediction, if a 21-year-old Public Enemy came out, a young one, real young, not 30, kids, if a young, like J. Cole and them are kind of close, but they're not as militant as KRS-One, a real militant young kid, and a Lauryn Hill, a rebirth of that young, powerful black woman speaking about solar. Can you sing? Oh shit! There you go.
Well, that's nice. Okay, go back. A&R, move her, take her out of here.
You need to sing, singing, or you need to hook up with the right singer, somebody that's hitting. But if your lyrics are that potent and that heavy. Compton. Oh shit, some Crips is in here. Okay. But it could happen.
Does it matter whether I'm a female or a male?
No, it doesn't matter. A woman is needed right now. A woman is needed because you got the Nicki Minaj, you got Cardi B, you've got the Remy Ma, but Lauren's gone. And she was the biggest, the hottest. So that female with that powerful, the Queen Latifah, that shit, it can really hit, but you need the right music, you gotta have a song behind it, because now everything's melody based. It's not the boom bap. That's my opinion. Run with it. But it could work right now because it's needed. But don't expect radio to give you any play. Don't look for help. Just keep grinding, and when it pops, it'll pop. But the worst thing you can do is think somebody's going to help you. Anybody in here that wants to be successful, the thought somebody's supposed to help you or care, your dream is your dream and only your dream. No matter how much you sit in front of me and tell me about your dream, it's not my dream. It's your dream. And no one's going to push for it like you. You could sit me and I could say, yeah, I hear you, I feel you. 5 minutes later, I'm back into my shit. I got to deal with what's mine. So whatever is yours, you got to go for it. Nobody, not even your man, is going to want it as much as you. And if you don't have that drive, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Okay, one last question.
Oh, man, thank you so much. I needed to be around a shit-talking motherfucker tonight, boy, I tell you.
Real player, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, listen, I'm a Vietnam veteran from that era. I heard you spoke up on yourself being in the military. What was that like for someone like you, and how long did you stay in, and what branch of service?
I was 25th Infantry.
Oh, fuck.
So I was at Schofield Barracks. I went into the military because I had a daughter.
Okay.
And I had a daughter in high school, and I was Compton.
He's in the dark.
Okay. Is he long?
Hold on, bro.
Okay.
He's down.
Okay. So you were just get back to the question. I got distracted.
Yeah. You said you were 25th Infantry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went into the Army because I had a daughter. I was on the street. I wasn't really going to make any good decisions at that point. So I went, there was a enlistment office right next to Magnificent Brothers on Crenshaw. And I walked up in there and I said, I want to get in. I went in for the enlistment bonuses.
Okay, there you go.
And it was cool for me. I wanted to do it. The only way you're going to make it through the military is it's something that were you drafted?
I was drafted, so I was one of those haters, man. I didn't want to be there.
Right.
So
I wanted to do it. So
Right.
I did like 2 years in, 2 years out. I was pretty healthy. I was pretty athletic. I felt I could do it. 2 years in, then I realized it wasn't for me because one of my sergeants told me, he said, you're here because you can't make it in civilian life.
Right.
And I was like, wow. And that's what really, I said, nah. This ain't the only thing I can do. So the next 2 years, I planned on getting out. And when I got out, I came right home, got in trouble.
Okay.
But it was a good experience for me because it taught me how to deal with hard things, like going through, training and things like that. So I think you need a reference point to fucked up. So you need to know what's fucked up so you don't bitch about everything.
There you go.
So once you've been to Vietnam, it's nothing really motherfucker could really do to you to bother you.
Oh, it's easy now. My life is easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is cool.
So it's either that or the penitentiary.
Well, by not wanting to go, they say, well, listen, if you don't go with us, you're going to the penitentiary for 45 months. I say, wait a minute, I only weigh 130 pounds. At that time, I was pretty light, so I didn't want to go in there and be somebody's bitch. So give me the 24 months instead of the 45 in the penitentiary. So I had to go to the war, and it was 2 years of fucked up shit, man.
Well, see, even though I was in the military, I never went down range. So I have to take my hat off to you for your service versus mine, which was just 4 years of training.
Right.
We got to respect the different levels of it. But it was a great experience for me. And I still kind of operate on a military basis.
Right.
Everything has to be planned out, thought out, timed out. So I carry a lot of that with me.
That's cool, man, because it was the worst 2 years of my life, but it made me a better person now. And that's the cool thing about it. I appreciate you, bro.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
Let's wrap it up. Compton.
Yo, Ice. I got one quick question.
Okay, this is my boy Spike.
Okay, so this is officially our last one.
Yeah, this
we're
one of the homies.
Keeping it lovely.
He just came back from the joint. This is one of my boys that was in the streets with me early in the game. He just did 26 years in prison. He's home. Give him a round of applause. We're not applauding for the prison. We're applauding for him being home.
What I had, the question I was going to ask you was something that was intricate. You've always been a real solid friend and a person that I always looked up to, especially in the early years when we grew up. You're a few years older than me, but I never forget, and I taught this in our Scared Straight programs when I was in prison. And I used to always use you as a role model to the kids in a way where choices. In life, we make choices. I made a lot of choices, and some of the choices landed me down the road that I went through. But I never forget when you and I were younger, and in the hustle and bustle, you had made your mind up, and nobody knew. You were talking about the pre-Radiotron days and stuff like that. And the decision that always stuck in my heart and my head, even when I was doing all those years, was I remember talking to you, and you had said, Spike, I'm not doing that no more. And nobody knew except you, based on the dreams you had, based on what your life's choices were going to be. But that is something that always stuck with me. And I always would give that to the kids, and I would say, I had a friend, without having to put your name in it, I had a friend that always made the choice, and now as an adult, and as a more mature adult through my experiences, he told me one day that, Spike, I'm not doing this no more.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law, choices. And my question to you is, that was embedded in you. How was it that at that time that you was able to break away through those choices? Because that's the thing in life that everybody has to decide. In life, right and wrong is a thin line, like a Miller line.
The choice came to me for two reasons. One, my dad. My dad taught me, whatever you're going to do, you got to be a professional. If you're going to be legit, you're legit. You don't deal with criminals. You don't cross that line. If you're a criminal, you don't deal with legit people. You don't straddle the line. You're picking one or the other. If we're criminals, we're in the underworld. And we keep all our shit secret. We don't talk. We don't take pictures. You and I have years of our lives that are unphotographed because we played by the code. Once I decided to step on the other side of the line, I told you I'm done. Now, one of the reasons it made me done was all the players that I admired were going under. So I'm looking at all these hot cats that I admired. I'm like, they going under, and they calling me from the joint like, Ice, don't come here, man. This ain't no place for no player, man. They don't know nothing about no Dom Perignon up in here. They don't know nothing about no filet mignon. You ain't cut for this, Ice. You got to. And then once I started to try to rap, people saying, Ice, you got action. You got action. White people like you. You can get out of this situation. And once I knew I had that chance, I had to make that decision. And at that point, I'm like, I can't, you know, because you know the kind of shit we would do. We would hit a lick, we'd have money, and then we go broke. Well, I had hit my last lick, and I said, this is what I got to live off at this point. Because it wasn't like we weren't drug dealers. We were robbers and stuff. So we didn't have a consistent hustle. It was like we would be sitting around right now between licks until a score came, and then we'd have to go out of town or whatever, make the move. I was done. I'm like, I'm not doing that no more. I can't leave with y'all. I'm going to stay here. And I went broke. You remember when I stopped rapping, I went
remember
broke.
that very well. When you
I went broke, and y'all was still hustling. And
I remember that.
You would come through and, you know, throw a nigga a few dollars, you know, so it was like withdrawal, and it was a hard moment when you broke trying to pursue something else, and you know you could snap your fingers and go get 100,000 to go do something. But I had made that decision, man, because I don't know, it's just a moment. It's just a moment in your life where you just say, I got to make another decision. I got to change.
Well, I want to thank you for that. And that also is intricate in my life now. So, you know, they need to know that you're the real deal, man. A lot of people will say stuff just for the window dressing. But for me to you, you're the realest deal I've ever known in my life. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and won't you join me, please, in thanking once again Ice-T.
Thank you, everybody. See you at the party.